Hello, mayors. Hello, mayoresses. How are you all doing? I hope you're well. We are here on an autumn afternoon in Bahia de Barbosa, with the trees turning orange. To continue this series with another episode, if you like it, please leave your like here at the beginning of the video, enjoying this wonderful view of our city. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. We're aiming to reach 100K subscribers, which is a big deal for a city's Skylines channel. So I appreciate each one of you who makes an effort, hypes up, and also comments, alright? Well, in the last episode, we started building our first industries in the industrial district, that industrial complex we made. And today we're going to make good progress in that area, alright? So let's leave here from the city of Nova Yorkina. And here it is, with the side roads, the expressway being well used. That's good, right? It's being very efficient here. And we're going to pass through the city of Los Angeles here, which is our main goal, right? Come back here when the demand for trade starts to grow again. For that, let's go to the district to produce a lot of products here in this complex. And I even outlined an area here so we can have more information. There are almost 7,000 employees. And look, it's not even complete yet, okay? We only put the industries on one side here. I placed 2 rows of industry in the last episode, and the rest here was done off camera as the demand increased. And it's still high. And about the traffic, man, I found it very calm, very chill, okay? There was no problem at all, none. And you can see that it's really chill. Even here, on the access road for now, there are just a few cars. Anyway, I think it's even strange for 7,000 employees working here, which makes me want to take a look at the city's statistics. And see this employment thing, right? Will we have enough people to fill all these new positions we're going to create? We can see here on a 1-year time scale that the number of jobs in the industry has grown, right? And in the retail sector, it's still just a little bit. Actually, no, this here is municipal services. Retail is about the same, which is this bluish-green one here, I guess. Let's check the number of workers in Industry A as well, right? It's growing a lot with the industrial expansion in this district, and unemployment has been decreasing, right? We were like, wow, we have 60,000 unemployed people in a population of 311,000. That's a lot. Damn. Our unemployment rate is at 38%. That's very high. It's very high. So that's why you're asking for industry. I'll go ahead and zone here without hesitation. 38% unemployment is a very high unemployment rate, okay? That's 60,000 unemployed people, right? There are 96,000 employed people, and we have a population of about 530 homeless people, right? That's just 0.2% of the total population. But anyway, we don't have any more excuses not to zone here. Our district was made for this, right? I'm not zoning here near the roundabout. And I think even here, it would be nice not to have any industry on this avenue either. Anyway, so we don't end up creating points of interest on the main roads. In this case, it's this one here, running east to west and connecting the 2 sectors. Let's hit play and the industries will start growing in this area here. The demand will be met for the moment. And let's see if we can reduce unemployment here in the city, here in the state. Look, the demand dropped, soon it will go up and we'll mess up the rest. So I'm thinking about taking this area here so we can build an office complex, okay? For startups, or even offices that will manage these industries here. Look, we've already passed 7,000 employees now. Everyone is being hired here, a lot of people with little or no education, right? More than half. Well, industrial demand hasn't grown. So now let's focus on meeting this office demand. I'm kind of against it, okay? Creating cities divided into sectors like that, you know? There's an industrial sector, an office sector, but in this case, it's really the demand that's driving things, okay? If it were up to me, I would mix everything here, but we don't have demand for the rest, right? So I'll focus that mix in the other cities. Here it's really to meet the demand. And to continue the O series, this straight line is 208 meters, so 104 is the middle. So I'm going to draw a street right here in the middle and bring it over here. It might also be interesting to make a diagonal like this. Oh, actually not a diagonal, right? Horizontal from here to here and from here to here. Then pull a 45-degree line, look, over here and also connect it to the avenue, right? I wanted to make it straight, but then it would create an intersection too close to the entrance of the junction, so I'll leave it. For those unfamiliar with my method, the 45-degree curve needs to be done this way for it to work. Because here, look, it gets kind of unstable, right? I don't have anything to lock this curve in place. So what do I do? Can I pull like 24 meters this way? 24 meters this way too and put it here to the 45 degrees, you see? It fits perfectly and I can get a lock to make sure this curve is at 45 degrees. Then I remove the excess here and we can make something really standard. So my friends, I'm gonna draw a layout here specifically to meet this office demand. Look, I made 2 4 blocks here and here. I'm going to go back with the 35 or 45 degrees so we can close this here. This end up to this direction, which is also the end of the district here, right? From this actual office sector, it almost turned into a pyramid in the drawing, right? Quite suggestive for an office area. But I'll add a few more blocks here to the sides where they fit. And I even think that this street here in the middle, I'll make it a pedestrian walkway. I'll make the access through these other 2 streets here. So here I'll make an entrance and here an exit and create a small ring road inside here. Well, and we're going to subdivide here. I'm going to put a high density office, just a generic one, right here in the center. I think I'll even create a division here with pedestrian streets and put the high density offices right here. I think on these ends here too, I'll try to make something really symmetrical. Okay, so it looks well planned. Here too, look at the entrance facing the avenue itself. And at the ends, almost like wings, right? They even look like 2 wings. We're also going to have some towers, and here too, look. I think it could look cool, 2 big buildings here at this end, 6 by 6. And I'm going to hit play. Let's see how they're going to look. Wow, they're huge, aren't they? It turned out well. I think the layout looks good. The smaller ones are in the center, making it dense, while the bigger ones are on the edges, right? Does it look good? I think it works. I think we can put a low density in the rest then, to fill in the interior of this sector here as well. Here too. Later, I'll even add some parking lots. I don't think we can go without them, right? Let's see how it looks now with the low density filling in the rest here. It turned out good. This triangle here, I think I'll turn it into a park. So people can take a break during lunchtime. It'll look something like this. All right, I've made some sketches here. And now all that's missing is the landscaping. Here in the corners, and then in the more central parts, some little bushes here too, just to make it look nice. All right, here, man, I said it in autumn. And so the shadows of the buildings stand out a lot because in autumn, the sun is lower, right? And then you can't see very well inside the blocks. Check it out. If I lower the contrast, you might see better. This mod is Lumia, okay? It's this little triangle that stays here in the corner. But let's go ahead and place some parking lots. One here, another one here. This part here can have one too, and this one as well. A smaller one is also welcome. So, what do you think? To make this integrated at least up to here, the train station, right? So the workers can come here. I'm going to connect it with some walking paths, maybe, look, pulling from here, coming from this middle part, here from the walkway. Do you think a path here would be good? Between the 2 lanes? Look, turn, here it comes. So we're going to have to go up a bit, put the column here as far as possible without invading the lane. I think up to here. Whoa, no way. Oh no, now it glitched. It's because I forced it alone, right? You have to force it higher, man. There you go. Ah, now that's it. All right, let's keep going with this crossing here. And then we're going to end up with a column here in the middle. That's a problem. Maybe by sticking it here? Yeah, I'll have to delete that little column later. And here, I can maybe lower one already, right? To already make the descent to ground level here, see? Something like this. We already have 2 crosswalks here. I don't think we need all of that, right? Can we remove this one? Okay, and then you'll have direct access to the park here. And the height of this here, I think it could be a little lower. so it doesn't, So the pedestrian doesn't have to climb so much, right? So there's not too much elevation gain, so I'm gonna lower it here. I think this height here is really good. I think any type of vehicle can pass through here. And also the elevation gain here for the pedestrian. It won't be that much. Anyway, it's to make things more accessible here, right? Let's say. Anyway, I think I'm gonna put a bus terminal here to serve as a final stop, right? For everyone too. I've already ended up right here in this industrial area. I'm going to extend some streets here too for future expansions on this side. So it's gonna look like this, right? I think we can also extend a street from this roundabout, and it can be a street that in the future will even cross over to the other side. Okay, because it's a street that, whether we like it or not, is a main access road, right? It's coming out of the roundabout, it crosses here with this street that gives access to the Escritorial district, and it will also give access to the other side. Here from the railway and from the railway, right? We don't know exactly what's going to be over here yet, but there's already a little connection, right? And we will also integrate this industrial district with whatever is over here, which will probably be the suburb here. I'm considering making our French city the center, probably around here, at the foot of the slope in this area, right? Leave it with that very French characteristic. But anyway, I think even this street here, look, that crosses here. I'm going to include it, at least in this part here, with parking on both sides. All right, see, there's a little parking spot here, and it already helps people out too. I think a roundabout here could be welcome too, here and here. All right, I'm already making a small extension, see? Beyond the train tracks and the highway as well, right? It's like there was a block here that already existed, and then parts of it were demolished, right? To make way for the train tracks and also for the highway and the intersection here, right? So it's really just to symbolize that. And it's good to have this here too, right? Because it's going to connect this part here with the future city that's going to be here, right? They won't be exactly two isolated things, right? Let's say, all right, at least we have a draft layout for this side over here. And our industrial demand is already starting to rise. I'll let the time run a bit longer because it's going to rise more, okay? When it's higher, we'll finish it. And for now, I'm just going to put some vegetation around here in these lawns and add more paths too. And the vegetation is so this area doesn't end up looking too dull. Do we need a traffic light here between the gaps of the buildings right here? There's also space for trees. It's becoming a district, right? Around a park, in fact, the park around a business district. And this shade of orange here, the autumn colors, makes everything really beautiful. Do you guys like it? What's your favorite season? In the game, I mean. I always leave it on summer because it's the greenest, the cleanest visually, right? But sometimes it's nice to change it up too. Between the buildings, there are these little alleys, see? And it's really nice to put this greenery here along the paths. Really random, actually, to make it nicer to walk around, right? At least for those who are going to work here. I don't believe this is going to be a tourist area for sightseeing anyway. And then, in the end, look at the result we achieved, right? It turned out really nice here, this office area. It looks great, especially with the trees. I think it added a lot. And the roads around it? I think it gave it a special charm, right? Because it kind of has that look, sort of, I don't know, marginal Pinheiros in Sao Paulo, that has those expressways going by. When you look to the side, you see some office buildings, right? So it really has that vibe. And even looking from a distance, look, it looks like the pearl of the industrial district here, right? Because it kind of has a diamond shape here, this area. Well, let's create demand. Let's meet demand. The goal is, in today's episode, for us to finish this office area here, right? Let's fill in this side here, and I'm just avoiding putting it here. Look, in this part, but let's leave it here. With these industries already growing, the demand is being met. Look, the demand for people is starting to go down. Look, it's already decreased. Yeah, we're going to have to eliminate this unemployment that we saw, right? We now have 12,200 positions filled here by employees. And we've reduced unemployment from 38% to 36%. Yeah, I think we still have a long way to go. I'll wait for this demand to go up again so I can zone this other area here. Meanwhile, I'll do what I mentioned in the other episode, actually in the last episode, of building the passenger railway line, okay? Well, here's what happens. We have some problems regarding this. I want to bring in a railway line, right? A passenger line from here, from the German city, okay? That's all good. It'll be easy because we have the station here, which, goes over there. And we just need to do this section here, look, connecting this part here from this line to here, look, this other line here, look, this one, right? And man, the thing is, we're going to have to move the track over to this side, right? From the right to connect here, because this track here goes to the cargo station. And then there's another problem. Whoever is here at Praia dos Ingleses station won't be able to leave, right? And go to the factory because there's no track, right? And making a loop here, man, is also going to be a challenge, but we can do it. I'm going to remove this street here. When I made it, the idea was even to go up a bit of this mountain here, but that's not a priority right now, right? We want to take the workers to their workplace. I'm always in favor of work being close to where people live, but in this case, since it's not, at least let's provide quality transportation to get there. Well, I'm going to take advantage of this lane change here and make an exit from here. So let me even turn on the topographic tool. I'm going to have to do it. Man, it's going to be tough, huh? I'm going to have to go up a bit. This track will have a 5% incline, so it'll rise a lot. We're going in groups of 3, right? So here, look, we're going to go up 3%, and we're going to try to keep it here. Look, another 3%. Here it's going to drop about 4 and something, so we're going to go up manually, at least so it stays here at the same level. Look, 0. And here we're going to have to bring it, look, over the entrance of this tunnel. So, can we make a curve here? Look, with very little elevation gain, actually. So this part is going to be pretty easy, and here it can be a straight line. Here is where it's going to be complicated. Actually, I think I'm going to have to change this section here, removing this part right here. I'm not going to be able to make this curve here naturally, right? I think I'm going to have to increase the curve radius out here, so it becomes smoother to make. So it would be bringing it from here to here, look, right up to the mountain. Until we find the 0% here, look, perfect. Because from here, we're going to curve and keep the same level here, see? So it's going to take a little bit from the mountain here. That's okay. We'll adjust this later. But the important thing now is to bring it, right? This part here from the tunnel exit to here, look, straight ahead, it's almost at the same height. There's just a 0.9% incline. The problem is that I didn't want to leave it here at this corner, right? I think it's a very sharp turn, so maybe the problem is this turn here. Look, I'll have to leave it a little more over here, right? Like this, in this direction, because then from here, I can make a smoother turn over here. So I have to leave this track about here. Look, so let's pull this curve back a little bit. It's erased, and let's redo it. Pulling from here to here in a straight line. And from here, look, make this curve here, see? All right now, right? Make a curve here and then bring the connection here, see? Now, yes, this curve here, see? This exit is much better, right? And I think we even set the level here. Look, everything is at the same level, right? It's not like a seesaw or a roller coaster or anything. Good. Now, this piece here, it has to come out here. Look and fit in here. That's what we're going to do. Let's grab this end here, bring it over here, look, in a straight line here, and let me go ahead and pull its joint too. I think it's going to join right around here. Look. But the only problem is this slope, which is going to be very steep. See, we're going to connect here. It's going to be a bit of a crazy tangle, but it's going to work out. I'm just curious to see what our height gain is going to be. Coming around a curve, see, straight up to here. 9%, I thought it was fine. The problem is here now. Look, man, I'm gonna have to go up. Man, this isn't good at all. I'm gonna have to go up, take advantage of this straight part here to raise the track a bit so I can get over this here. And when it's time to go down here, that's going to be kind of tricky. Let's go, because I'm afraid this space here won't be enough, right? For us to go down the track and keep the 3% incline. But let's try. Let's get 3% here. All right, let's curve up here. Look, right at the tunnel exit, so no complications. And connect here. Do you think a direct connection will work? It's good. Yeah, we'll lose about 1%. Is it still within the allowed range? Trial and error, my friends. Trial and error. Let's see how it turns out now. Look, here it turned out fine, right? The passage here is okay, right? Look, perfect. And here we distorted the mountain a little bit, but we're going to fix that, right? Just keep adjusting now, putting the little containment barriers here. See, where can we put them? Look up to here like this, see? We can put it here, not here, since there will be an overpass over the road. We also have to work with the land to smooth out this slope right here, see? Look, we'll smooth it out here, see? According to where the track passes. All right. And here too, look, from the track up here, we can also smooth it out. I'm going to press it down, see, from here to here to take a bit of this slope off too. I'm still going to leave this wall, right? I think it's cool to have this wall here, to be part of it. So it looks like it was really a human intervention, that it was actually excavated to build this railroad track. So what are we going to do here? We're going to put the little containment barrier on this side, right here on the mountain. Look, see how it is, right? This human intervention here is pretty cool, and it's going to look really nice. You know what might be missing? I'm not sure there's enough space. It was this right here, a connection from this track to this one here, you know? It's to access the industry. And why do I think this would be needed? Because everything we produce here, right? And if it was loaded onto the freight train, it would have to stop here, right? That cargo would have to be brought here. So from here, the trucks can distribute it in the city, right? Just like it happens at this freight station here. Look, there are already a lot fewer trucks here, right? Compared to the number of trucks we saw in the last episode, right? When we opened the other district, but I wanted to do the same thing here, you know? Maybe. The problem actually is that this track here is in the way, right? That's why I think it won't work. The curvature is actually okay, but the track there is in the way. And then there would be this crossing here. Look, this crossing here. I don't know if it's very realistic, is it? I don't know how to make this connection from here to here, man. This is all because the loading station only exits on one side, right? If it went out to the other side, we could have planned an entrance here. But anyway, right, we work with what we have available. If you have any ideas, please leave them in the comments so I can know. The important thing is that we have the connection here, right? Now, from this part to this part here, it's via this railroad here. Look, I already made a little circle here too, right? For those who are here at this station, they can also go there to our workplace. I'm just going to adjust the surroundings of the track now to remove these imperfections in the terrain and put up a little containment barrier here. Also on the side to hold this mountain here. Look, it turned out kind of, buggy, but when we use the smoothing tool, it will get better. See? You get it? And then I smooth everything out. I don't use the brush here because I've already leveled this part, see? If I use the brush on this side here, I'll mess up the leveling I did, and that's how we make sure everything turns out just perfect. I'm just going to remove this vegetation that's on top of the track to make some space here, okay? And I think that's it, guys. For now, there's not much else to do here. And here, right, where there's this shifting of the tracks, I'll put it here. I think it's a different color here on the ground to show that some work was done and the soil is kind of worn out. I think it gives a nice highlight. Look at that, huh? Leave it like this. I think it's fine up to here too. This part over here, look, up to down here. Now it really looks like a construction site, a real work site. It didn't before. And finally, we'll be able to open the lines. So let's come over here to our German city. Let's take this platform here. Look, the one that's not being used. Actually, we have a line that comes here to Praia dos Ingleses, and from here. Actually, it could, right, when returning, go over there to the industry, right? Instead of going back to the German city, it comes here. Look, do you guys think so, right? And then, okay, I'm going to have to switch sides. The station has to, it's the station's point. It has to come to this track here, so we can take this exit. Yeah, I'll have to come over here to go, see, to the exit here. He managed to make the turn here and go over there. And then on the way back, whoever is coming from our factories will also stop here, and then they'll go to the German city afterwards. So that's how it turned out. Now everything is connected. So do you think people will already start using this new option to go to work? I'm curious to find out. Well, let's see here. There's already a train here. Oh, I have to turn on the station, obviously. There's already a train here, but still 0 passengers. I'm going to zone this other side here, which is missing. Let's meet this demand right away. I'm going to put a bus garage here too, because I think it'll be nice to have a bus running around in here, especially here on this road, and stopping at the stations to pick people up. So it would make perfect sense for us to place a garage. I don't know, maybe over here, put some bus stops here. So I'd put one here and another one here and put one here. On the next block too, after the roundabout, one here and another here and 2 blocks later as well. Then it will turn around and come over here. So 2 more stops, go past the block. 2 more stops, there's the roundabout. 2 more stops, go past this block, 2 more stops. And that's how I keep going, leaving at least a block of space here. And here in front of the stations, it would also be interesting. All right, there's a spot over there. Whoever's going to work here at the charging stations can get off here at the station and cross over on foot here. So I'm gonna make a connecting path here. All right, and I think here on the other side as well. Here it's going to be even simpler. I can connect from here to here directly. All right, and then make this internal route starting from here. We have a platform here and the others can come here from this neighborhood, from here, and also from the future French city. Well, leaving from here. The first stop can be here. Then it comes back here and continues on its way. And since it's a circular route, then I'll have to do the return route. It's not a route that goes from point A to point B, right? It goes back to the point where it starts. So I'm going to use this other platform to go the opposite way. Oh shoot, I forgot to stop at this station here. On this side, okay, it's going to make a detour here from the route and then come back. It'll pick up the people at the station and then return. All right, it's done here, it's taken care of as well. The route inside the district is already working here with the integration at the train station. Let's see, right? People will use it. There's a passenger here. Sometimes they don't even use it, you know? Speaking from my experience with cities' skylines, a passenger station inside an industrial district usually doesn't work. Now I'm going to make a cargo line starting from here, bringing the cargo that's produced here to... See? I wanted to bring it here. It even found a route, but what route is that? It's going to take some weird detour here. I don't know. Just out of curiosity. Let's see where it's going to make this turn. It comes up to here, and where does it turn back? There, at the map's end. It'll go out and return, see? Not worth it. There should have been a way back through here, but it ended up not happening. But, alright, we'll go up to this one here. Actually, there's no way back here. That's complicated. This one doesn't have an external connection. I'll make an external connection here from Ingalls' city, and then come back. Also to bring products here, imported ones. And I think that whatever we end up producing here will be sold. Because, look, since we already have this side working, I'm going to take one of the platforms here and I'm going to connect it to this output we've created. In the last episode, H isn't finding a route. Why? There's really no connection. Hold on, I'm going to make a little connection here, from here to here. All right, I made a track switch here, a change of tracks. It's all good. So I think now we can connect this station and send what we produce here to sell outside as well. There was a traffic jam here because it's a lot. Everyone here, right, wants to access this lane here? Look, to leave the city, actually not to leave, but to come here to our Golden Gate. What I did, I just widened here, added one more lane, and put the exit, so it can be done a little further ahead. See, in this junction here, because before it was right up here, right? So people exiting here would conflict with those exiting there, right? Then they'd all get mixed up here. Now there's more space, there's a little more space, right? And one more lane. Let's see if this here already helps to solve it, right? And they're still cutting each other off here. Look, it's this one. Maybe I need to look for an alternative, right? If it stays like this, I'll have to think of something else. But I think that after these trucks and cars leave, it'll get easier. Right? It's calm here, isn't it? Our industrial district is working well. Office area. Wait, I mean the industrial area. I'm going to expand it a bit more here. Now there's an overload here in the electrical part of this road. Alternatives for energy here. And to finish the episode, let's close it completely here. Our industrial district is operating at its maximum capacity. Right, look, the buses here are working too. No passengers. Actually, I've never liked providing public transportation for the industry, you know, because it doesn't work in the game. It doesn't work. Look, here there are 3 passengers. Anyway, sometimes my experience is kind of individual, right? Sometimes, did it work for you? Comment down below too. So, how was your experience with public transportation to industrial zones, providing transportation for workers? It worked for me, though it usually doesn't. Maybe I'm the problem sometimes. This little corridor looks nice, right? I liked the trees. You could do the same on this other avenue here too. Well, after this landscaping here looks really nice, right? On both this side and this side here for the industries. I'm just going to put a fire station here and a police station, right, to ensure the safety of our workers. And that's it. I think today's episode will end here. Look, the traffic here has already been resolved. The train is leaving the factory with 23 passengers, right? 23 workers. And the one that's going over there, let's see. Look, there's one here, but this one is for cargo, for... Cargo, it's got some kind of bug, right? Unfortunately, but anyway, you can also comment about it if you want, okay? Well, I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you so much to everyone who made it this far, to the very end of the episode. You are amazing, you are awesome. Just like the channel's member counselors whose names are appearing right now as a way of saying thank you. We're in this together, always a big hug. See you next time and goodbye.